Ben, go ahead.
Good morning, Sam.
Morning.
I believe you're rooming with Paul Rhyan, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about him, what he's added to this group?
Well, I mean, Paul came all the way across the country to get a chance to play this year. So, I mean, he's put in a lot of work, just living within himself. We've been going over the plays pretty much nightly, and he's just putting in a lot of work, rotating in with everybody. I think he's a good addition in the group, and yeah, he's been playing well.
My understanding is he'd never been west of the Mississippi before coming out here. Have you guys given him a nice California introduction to some of the things out here?
Yeah, we had to introduce him to, or we had to get used to some of that Philadelphia lingo that he's got going on. We took him to the beach a couple of times, so he thoroughly enjoyed that. But yeah, he's been enjoying the West Coast.
Let's go.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing? I wanted to ask you about Jake Burton. Was it a surprise that he left? And with Paul Groton coming in and reshuffling, how has it been rebounding without Jake there?
Yeah, I mean, I've been with Jake for like 3 years. So when he decided to leave, it was kind of shocked. But at the end of the day, he has to do what was best for him, his family, and himself moving forward. So I can't, I don't want to comment on how he was feeling during that or whatever. But in terms of Paul coming in, I think Paul's been a good addition. I mean, that's just how O-line is. Everybody's got to jump around all the time. You always got to have that next man up. You got to be prepared to play multiple positions. So I don't really think in terms of shuffling around or anything, it's affected us that much.
Let's go to Rick Kimbrell.
Hi, Sam. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Outstanding. What's it like being the old grizzled veteran on the offensive line now?
It took me some of the younger guys to tell me that to get used to at first. Because, I mean, I always had older guys to kind of look up to, like, Boss and Jake and some of the, even like Andre a couple of years ago. So it took a couple of the young guys to be like, well, shoot, you're the leader now. I'm like, oh, I am. So I'm trying to be more vocal and just fill that role, trying to help the younger guys along. But other than that, it's been good.
Let's go back to Ben.
One quick follow-up before I ask my next question. You mentioned that Philly lingo. What's some examples of that Philly lingo?
His favorite word is cuz or cuzzle. So I'll be hanging out the room, I'll come in, like, what's up, cuz? So I don't really talk like that, but we give him some hard time about it, but it's good.
I know that continuity is a big thing on the line. Are you guys mostly sticking together as a group with like, ones with the ones, twos with the twos, or are you guys mixing and matching?
I mean, this early in camp, it's kind of, we're rotating. Every coach is trying to see a lot of guys at a lot of different positions. So yeah, it's just been a big rotation thus far.
You're still at center?
Yes, I've been playing center and then rotating at guard a little bit.
Let's go to Tracy.
Hey, Sam. Along those same lines, who roughly right now, who are the ones and the twos, if you could tell us?
I mean, we got a lot of guys rotating in. We got a lot of guys who can play with the ones and twos. It really just depends on the day and who coach wants to see at what position at that day. So I can't really give a set line because it's dependent on really what coach wants to see and how we can adjust for that day.
Sam?
Yep.
Sam Connon, sorry.
Oh. Hey, Sam.
Hi.
So can you tell me a little bit what it's like having Antonio Maffi on the offensive line, if there's anything that you've done to kind of help him make that transition?
Mm-hmm. It's great having Moff on the O-line. He's, big body. He's got a lot of hip power and a lot of good drive with his knees. And plus he's just good energy to have around. Really fun guy, really, livens up the room. In terms of helping along, I'd say helping him with like the mental aspect, like getting that brain from the defensive side to the offensive side. and then learning the whole playbook, I mean, that can be challenging. But in terms of O-line play, like he's playing really well.
Mike? Mike, are you there? All right, let's go back to Tracy.
Hey, so how is it right now? Just what are you, 3 years in with your offensive line coach with Justin Fry? What does that mean? That kind of experience, getting a feel for him, knowing how he teaches and how he instructs and what he wants from you. How different is that at this point?
I mean, I think we've been constantly growing throughout these 3 years. I mean, yeah, I guess now I am the guy who's been with him the longest. I think we're really just trying to take that next step to where I'm being more proactive and leading instead of him having to tell us stuff. And that's with all the older guys on the team, just trying to be more of a player-led program instead of coach-fed. But I think Coach Fry's enjoying having kind of the older guys and being able to dive deeper into the football aspects of things. So yeah, I think it's been good.
Tracy, go ahead.
Yeah, so it seems like from the roster that's been listed, a lot of offensive linemen have gained some weight, put on weight. Would you say generally across the offensive line, everyone's gotten bigger, and who looks different to you?
Yeah, I mean, going home for, what was it, like 3 months, 4 months, you know, having our moms cook us dinner every night, it was good. A lot of people gained some good weight and are looking good. I'd say one guy who looks pretty darn good is Baraka. He got a lot of weight in his thighs and his butt, and he's looking pretty good.
All right, we got time for 2 more. Let's go to Rick.
Sam, this is the 3rd year you've been in the program with Coach Fry, and each year you have to rebuild an offensive line. How is that process going with the players right now? I mean, it looked at first you were going to have 4 returning starters, and now it's just 2. And also, has Paul Grattan told you where you can get a good Philly cheesesteak, and if so, where?
I wouldn't say it's so much rebuilding offensive line as just supplementing and building off what we already have. Like, we have a lot of guys who have played even last year, a lot of guys rotating in, getting snaps. So I don't think it's so much of like, you know, guys leave and it's like a brand new slate. It's a lot of building off of what we have, and a lot of especially the younger guys are picking up the offense and the scheme really well. So yeah, I don't think it's so much of a rebuilding as much as just a supplement. And what was that last part of the question about the Philly cheesesteak?
Yes. Has Paul told you where you could find a good Philly cheesesteak in LA? And if so, where?
Oh, no, I don't think Paul trusts any Philly cheesesteak on the West Coast. I don't think he trusts it. But we might have to go find out together. I don't know.
All right, last one to Ben.
I'll answer the question. There's a place called Philly's East on Westwood Boulevard, just south of Santa Monica. You guys should check it out.
Will do.
But my question is, you know, you guys gave up quite a few sacks last season. I think you ranked 120th in the nation. How do you come back from that and try to improve in that area this season?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it, first of all, starts with working the fit and communicating. We've really been stressing these past couple of weeks or months, however long we've been doing this OTAs and now practice, about everybody communicating, everybody knowing where the point is, working our technique. We can't come up to the line guessing. And we really want to be solid inside so that Dorian can get back there and do what he does.
Okay, thank you, Sam.
Yep. Good. All right.
All right, Tracy, you want to get us started?
Hey, Sean. So take us through how it's been in the offseason, how it was for you, just getting through the pandemic offseason, how you worked out. What was your regimen like, where you worked out, and how difficult that was for you just to keep your body up and to stay conditioned?
Yeah, so when the quarantine first hit, it was a little tough to find a field to go and run on because they were starting to shut down everywhere to, try to slow the spread of the virus. But luckily for me, I kind of have like a home gym, I guess you would say. So I was able to keep lifting, but the cardio aspect kind of fell down a little bit in the beginning because they're being so strict on the fuel usage and whatnot. But a couple weeks in, we figured out that the beaches weren't closed. So me and my dad ended up going down to the beach in the mornings, going to run on the sand and do my speed work in the sand because they were open and the fields weren't. So that's where we started off with the cardio. And then eventually when the fields opened up back up again for active use, we got back on there, started getting used to cleats again, all while lifting. So that's how it really was.
Right, Ben?
Two things. So where does that put you weight wise versus last season? And then have you guys started the daily testing, and how's that gone?
Yes, sir. We have started the daily testing. We come in 6:45 every morning, do the nose swab, and then get our test results back in the evening, all negative. And for the off season, I put on some weight. I think the highest I got up to was 338. But since then, kind of cut down to 330 again, lost a little bit of that home cooked meal fat and getting back into football shape. So that's how it's going.
Let's go to Sam.
Hey, Sean. So pass protection was not the strong suit of the offensive line last year. How do you kind of go ahead and try to fix that in off season where maybe you're not working with Dorian and the quarterbacks that much directly?
Well, I mean, I want to say it was like our worst or our weakest suit, but in the offseason, we've been just getting together, as a group over Zoom and just working, going through the fit, going through a bunch of different looks. We might run, one of our pass plays to like 5 different looks just so that in the game, if we get it, we know how to block that one pass play to each look. And then after we kind of master that look, then we'll go to the next play, do it again to like 5 different looks, get that play mastered, and then so on and so forth. But we've been doing really well in our OTAs out here again in our fall camp. We've been doing really good with pass protections. Our run's been good. Defense is definitely working hard, making us work hard. So it's great competition out here. I think we're gonna do really well this year.
Let's go to Rick.
Hi, how you doing, Sean?
How's it going?
Great, thank you. As a sophomore, true sophomore, you are one of the vets on the team. How are you taking on that leadership role of being one of the only 2 returning starters to the team? And talk to us about that moderation of yours.
Yeah, so I guess I would be considered a veteran now, but I mean the O-line as a whole, we're all in it together. I mean, Sam is the oldest, so he kind of is the leader, but he tells us, let's pick it up, and then I'll kind of feed off of him and get going a little bit too. Or, if Sam's kind of over getting water, then either me, Alec, really anyone, just kind of pick each other up. There's really no leader. I mean, we're all just flowing together as one. So I think it's going to be really good. We're solid. We're really solid.
Mike?
Hey, good morning. I wanted to ask you about the first day in pads. How did that go? Did you guys feel like you were back in a rhythm? And second part to that is with Josh Kelly gone, who are you seeing emerging as a viable replacement for him?
Yeah, so first day in pads, it was fun. You know, it let us, us being the O lineman and D lineman, actually kind of fit into each other a little bit more and get used to banging again because, you know, as before, we weren't really allowed to touch each other. But since we got the daily testing, we're allowed to now. So it went really well. And with our running backs, they're all looking really good, actually, you know. So can't really name one, but they're all doing really well right now.
Let's go back to Ben.
Two things. Who's been playing tackle now? Testing. Chip had said that you guys might be tested as many as 10 times per week between the antigen, the PCR tests. Or is that happening? Are you guys tired of having swabs stuck up your nose?
Yeah, so with Jake transferring, you know, Alec has stepped up definitely, but, you know, everyone can play every position. You know, that seems to be a common theme. We stuck together, so we know what, you know, each guard does, each tackle does, what the center does. And yeah, with testing, you know, we're getting used to having the little nose swab getting up there. But yeah, we get the daily testing every day, and then we have the lab testing 3 times a week. So yeah, that would equal 10. So, but getting used to it, getting better.
Let's go back to Sam.
Hey, Sean. So you're talking about the daily testing, and I just want to talk about the off the field kind of aspect of this, the quarantine and everything. Obviously, it's very serious and strict, but are you still able to kind of spend time with your teammates off the field and kind of bond with them there, or are you kind of restricted a little bit?
We're definitely restricted because we're trying to give each other the best chance to play this season. So we're being really smart. You know, if we don't really live with the guy, I mean, it's kind of hard to, you know, go and see him because you want to be safe. We want to minimize the spread if something were to, you know, happen. So, I mean, we get to socialize here at the facility. But, you know, outside of it, we try to keep it just to the guys we live with, really. You know, maybe if we're walking and we see him, try to, you know, stay socially distanced, say what's up. But when we're in the facility, we're all clean, checked in. Yeah, we'll socialize a little bit more here.
Rick.
Sean, you talked about players stepping up. Can you name a couple of guys that have really shined during the first week of practice?
Yeah, our freshmen on line actually they're stepping up quite quick, actually. You know, they kind of have a different fall camp experience, you know, with the heading home and all the quarantine. So they weren't really able to be in the meeting room with us and have that extra time of player-led meetings where we could go over the plays. But they're catching on really quick with what they have been given. So, you know, all 3 of our freshmen on the line, I commend you guys because you guys are doing really well.
Last couple questions. Let's go to Mike.
Really quickly, I wanted to just ask you about Joshua Kelly again. Have you been following him with the Chargers and seeing what he's been doing? And are you impressed by what he's been doing?
Of course, JK's been doing really well. I kind of figured that he was going to do well because practicing with him, you know, enjoying his energy here when I was last year, I guess, when he was here, I just knew, you know, he was going to go and he was going to excel at what he was going to, I guess, being a running back in the NFL. But he's doing really well. I wish him the best of luck. I know God be with him, and just continue to follow JK all the way.
And last one to Ben.
What have you thought about Paul Graton coming in? Have you had fun with his Philly accent and him never having been west of the Mississippi? Have you introduced him to some California things?
Yeah, Paulie G, he's definitely a character. I love him. He brings in a different energy, but it's great energy because, you know,
most of us are, yeah, most of the O-line, you know, is mainly West Coast. So having him from the Midwest with John, it's nice to have that the mix up of I guess I don't know, cultures, I guess. And I haven't really been able to show him too much West Coast things because, you know, LA's still kind of shut down a little bit. We're still, you know, not going out crazy because trying to play this season. So we're being smart. But I'm sure once all this gets handled and hopefully COVID is dealt with, I will definitely show him a couple West Coast things and help him enjoy it.
All right. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you guys.